What's up, everybody? Thank you for checking out this episode of Chewin the Rag. Before we get started, just a couple of cool, quick announcements. First and foremost, at ChewinTheRag.com, same place where you find all of our platform links, social media, email for contact, and the gaming channel. There's now a section for merch. So if you click the merch link, it'll bring you to our web store where we have hoodies, t-shirts, water bottles, mugs, stickers, magnets, literally anything you could think of, we probably have it there. So be sure to go to ChewinTheRag.com to pick up a piece of merch, and make sure to like, rate, share, and subscribe on any of those platform links that you listen to us. It helps myself out, and more than that, it helps these guys out that I bring in that I think have cool things to promote. The more eyes on me, the more eyes on them, and it kind of helps the whole community, which is what this is really all about. Second, W Energy, good clean energy. Drink it every morning. I wear their merch. I have their hat on right now as we speak. I'm using their mouse pad. I highly support W. It's kind of helped me get away from coffee a little bit. I drink my W between like 6:30, 7 a.m. and I'm good until late afternoon, whereas I was drinking multiple cups of coffee a day. So W.GG and use promo code Chewin at checkout to get yourself some good, clean energy. Again, that's W.GG, promo code Chewin, no G, CHEWIN, Chewin at checkout. And one last thing, I am doing one more comedy show. I said I wouldn't, but I'm doing one more. Cairo, New York. It is September 24th, and it will be at the Old Factory Brewing Co. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, all proceeds go to benefit hospice. So one more show. This is it. Not doing another one. Old Factory Brewing Co. in Cairo, New York, and that's a few months from now, September 24th. Thank you guys, and be sure to go into the description of this video while we are talking about charity. Donate money to help the kids in all my videos, or Spotify, all the descriptions wherever you're listening. There's a GoFundMe link. Donate some money. Help the kids. They also have an event early September, and I believe if you click the GoFundMe, it goes into that a little bit more. So come support those guys, support myself later that month to benefit hospice, and thank you guys again for checking out this episode. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Chewin the Rag. As always, I am your host, and it is solo. I don't have anybody this week. The wedding was last week, so solo then, and now I'm recovering from the wedding. I didn't really reach out to anybody or plan or book anybody, so it's just me, and we're going to talk current events and some upcoming stuff and go from there. The wedding was all right. It wasn't too bad. I wasn't there long. It's always annoying. It's ironic. That's what it is. When it rains on somebody's wedding day. That's what Alanis Morissette or whatever the fuck her name is said, right? But we get there. We get the cottage that my wife, my son, and I were sleeping in. We got there Friday night because I had to be there for pictures Saturday morning. So I was like, look, let's just sleep up there Saturday or Friday. That way you guys don't have to drive up separate from me, and you also don't have to come up with me and sit around and waste time. But it rained. So my wife drops me off, and then we're waiting around trying to figure out, because it was an outdoor wedding, outdoor photos and everything else. My buddy's like, so the pictures are going to be at 11, then they're at 12, then they're at 1. And then they just didn't fucking happen, which is great. Because if you know me, and if you listen to last week's episode, you know this. I don't want to be there already. No offense to my buddy. No offense to anybody who ever asked me to be in their wedding. I'll do it. But I'm just not. I'm learning how boring I am. The guys who are all in the wedding, everybody, there's like weed in the camper and there's alcohol and they're stepping outside to smoke and they're like, you want a beer? You want this? And I'm just like, I don't want to. I opened the fridge and I was like thankful that there was a fucking bottle of water in there that I could have. That's me. I'm just going to reach for the water. I don't want to do any of this other shit. He got all the groomsmen cigars, and I'm like, I don't want a fucking cigar. I asked him for money to be honest. I was like, oh, we get like a gift for doing this for you, right? And he goes, well, I got everybody cigars. And I was like, that's not going to work for me. I did this for money was the hope. But they had a good wedding. It was nice for what it was. And I don't mean for what it was as in like the way they had it, but it fucking downpoured. And, you know, you have to improvise at that point. We were way ahead of schedule because we didn't do photos or anything. I ended up leaving right as soon as like the ceremony was over. I stayed dressed up for like 15 minutes. I changed, and then like 15 minutes after that, I was gone because I was with my son and my wife, and he's just not into that shit. Like, he's got to be moving, he's got to be playing, and it's not really an environment for him. And I knew it would be tough, so it was whatever. We just hung out, we did what we could, and then we left, and we caught 2 fish after. That's what we went and did. It was pouring rain. We went to fucking the only store in the area. We went to Walmart, grabbed him rain boots, and just went to the river. We said, fuck it, let's just do something while we're out here because we had it for another night. And like the whole selling point with this was there was a dock that was supposed to go. You take the stairs down from where we're sleeping, and there was a dock out to the lake, and you got like the whole, it was Lake Champlain, you got this whole thing. The fucking dock was broken. So we leave the wedding, and it's like, what the fuck are we going to do now? It's pouring out. We can't even access the dock from where we are if it wasn't raining out to like swim or do anything. The boat that was supposed to be there wasn't there. So you had to kind of just make do. We stayed in a fucking little cottage with nothing to do. There was a Dunkin' Donuts and a Walmart. I always hate traveling like that because like I want food, dude. I want to eat like good food. There really wasn't. The Walmart was empty. The pizza place, the fucking phone didn't work to even like place an order. They didn't have online ordering either. So like it was like, what could we eat? Fucking McDonald's, great. And I don't even care for McDonald's. I'm not even like one of those people who's like, I don't eat fast food, but like, fuck McDonald's. I don't want to eat that shit. So it was like, if we had to do like an out of 10 rating, it was like a 5.5. You know, I'm happy for my friend and his wife, and they made do with all the elements and whatnot. And my wife and my son and I, we had a good time. It was just like the negative 5 points would be all the things that were advertised when you rent a place for a weekend, not really working out. It's like, so now what? Aliens were confirmed real or whatever the fuck while we were gone. That was good. Who cares, you know? All this does is it gives people, like uninteresting people, something to talk about. That's all it is. You know, a buddy of mine, he was like, what did he put? He said, you're alive at a time that it was confirmed from the American government, cares, that non-human creatures were flying in aircraft. This is a big deal. Is it a big deal? Guess what happened after the American government confirmed that non-human creatures were flying in aircraft? Just the longest air quotes ever. Guess what happened? I went to work on Tuesday. I paid bills all weekend. I had to, you know, entertain my wife, my son, friends. I did everything that I did before finding that out after. Who gives a fuck? Obviously, we've been alive during this whole thing. You know, they didn't just appear yesterday or fucking Sunday, Saturday, whenever the fuck it was that it was announced. They weren't here. It wasn't like they landed that day and then they're like, we got one. If this is actually news, it's been the case. So I guess it's not as big a deal as you say. Who gives a shit what the government, and also the government lies all the fucking time. They're not lying about this. They're automatically telling you the truth because it's something that's interesting to you, right? Shut up. On the other side of that coin, there's the people who are like, let's talk about aliens. Meanwhile, did you know that celebrities are sex traffickers? And let's ignore the war in Ukraine. You ever think of that? And it's like, they're not ignoring that. That's also news, you know? Like, if you're bringing that up, you're reading it somewhere. Because, and I'm not calling anybody out because it's multiple people doing this shit. But I've talked about this. I'm pretty sure I've talked about this on here. If you're reading about something or you hear about something and you're just a regular person, it's not being covered up. It is what it is. You can say it's being covered up because it wasn't front page and this alien news or whatever it is that at the time is covering up stories is going on. But it's not being covered up if you know about it. If I know about it, it's definitely not being covered up because I just work a regular 9 to 5 and then for an hour a week talk into a fucking camera to people. And I know about the shit that you're talking about. So how the fuck is it being covered up? The thing is, there can be more than one thing going on at a time. It doesn't have to be a conspiracy. That's why if you have a newspaper or news stations or your news feed, it's multiple things because there's fucking however many people in the world, there's always going to be something to talk about. That's just, it's basic. It's common sense. That's just how it works. So, I don't know. I don't like both sides of it. I don't like the people who are making it a bigger deal than it is because who gives a shit? And I also don't like the people who are like, they're covering something up with this because, again, who gives a shit? It's two different types of uninteresting conversation to me. Like, what if somebody can give me a spin on it that I haven't yet heard? Great. Let's go for that because the other shit, the basic, like, it's like small talk pretty much, but with current events. And I'm just not here for that. I'm good on that. I also don't like people that say source for everything. Like, shut up. Just go fucking look it up. What's his source? Oh, ex-military? Whistleblowers. What's his source? Like, shut the fuck up. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I like conversation. I wouldn't mind talking about somebody or talking about somebody. I'll talk about somebody all day too. No, I wouldn't mind talking with somebody about this topic if they can give me something other than it's a cover up or this is a huge deal because it's going to change our lives. Like, it's not going to change our lives. The AI shit going on is going to change your life way more than the alien shit. You know, I can use Chatbox or GPT, whatever the fuck it's called, and I can get this whole bullshit thing typed out, which is what the government could have done to tell you there's aliens to cover up things. Maybe I'm with those people. But like, AI is so advanced right now. You know, you have podcasts led by AI. You've got ChatGPT. You've got the art fucking thing that I can't think of, that program where it's like you just type in these prompts and it gives you exactly what you want and more. That's a bigger deal to me than the government saying like they're not even calling it UFOs. I forget what they're calling it, but we have whatever the fuck spacecraft or whatever. That's more interesting to me than the alien shit. So I don't know. Pee Wee Herman died. He probably, I guess it was cancer. I was gonna say he killed himself from being bored of this conversation, but I think he had cancer that he didn't talk about. That to me is bigger news than the alien thing because Pee Wee Herman's a real thing that people grew up with and saw, and it's insane that I can't think of his actual name, so I'm calling him Pee Wee Herman because that's Pee Wee Herman. It's just Pee Wee Herman. It is what it is. But them dying, he dying, him dying, they dying, we dying. That to me is more interesting than the whole alien thing. It's just such a beat down topic. What else we got? I got something here. Give me a second. Twitter is X now, which is fucking me up. It's like you go to your icons and it's thrown me off a million times now. I actually upload. That's what I wanted to talk about. I am now putting podcasts on Twitter, so I don't know. I don't think that really affects anybody here because obviously you're already listening to me, and I doubt it's from Twitter. If it is, thanks for tuning in from Twitter. But it's pretty cool the way social media is looking at podcasts now, and they've obviously like the boom already happened. There's way too many people with podcasts, including myself. Fucking let's face it. But you can, if I clip a section of this episode and I'm like, that's the clip I want to use to promote the episode, on TikTok now, you can attach the full episode, this full episode. I can attach it to that clip. So it'll be my clip, and then on the bottom of it, it says, click here to watch this full episode, and it just pops open this episode of the podcast. So while, yes, the podcast boom is done, it already happened, everybody can have one. It's pretty cool that we are still getting these other platforms to promote the podcasts on. So there's interesting in that aspect, because while you do, we all know how many podcasts are out. There's a fuck ton. And you think like there's no room for it to go anywhere. Something like that happens where these people on TikTok, I highly doubt the majority of those people viral care or have podcasts out there. But then they get that notification saying that they can upload to it. They've already got 300,000 followers on there. Why not try to get some insight to who they actually are as a person, rather than who they are as like this TikToker who you've only seen a couple funny videos from, or dance, or whatever it might be, because literally everything's on there now. So I think it's pretty cool that this form of, I don't even know what the fuck you would call it. I hate when people call it like new media. Like new media. You know how many dipshits have a fucking podcast? You hear these guys and they say stupid shit like, do you know that in the countries where the women are covered head to toe and all this other shit, it's actually because we, as Americans, how we treat women is embarrassing. Anybody could be a woman now, okay? They're trying to get ahead of it. They cover these women head to toe. They don't give them any rights because, and here's why. Because you see these girls with their blue hair, these girls, they're not real women. They're looking at Western society. It's like, shut the fuck up. That's a real clip that I saw, by the way. And it's like, those are the people who you don't want to give a microphone to, because holy shit. I can't stand to listen to that shit for more than, I saw that clip and immediately was like, I don't know that person's name. I don't know that platform. I don't know any of it. But I don't know, this whole podcast boom, that you, unfortunately, you're going to get some of that shit too. And then you just get me, who fucking sings about Barbie going to Arby's and all this other nonsense. It's always funny just talking about last episode. It's always funny when like somebody from my personal life hears an episode, because they're like, that's not how it happened for me. I don't remember that happening, the way you're describing your childhood. It's like, that's your perception. I would never be able to come out and tell you your perception. I'm just telling you how myself and probably my brothers, if we ask them, how they perceive our upbringing and our household and everything else, it'd probably be very similar. But sometimes I do just, I might ramble and I might misspeak and I might put out a little false information. I might get a little tag under my videos about false information. I don't know. I'm not trying to. It's just in the moment I'm talking, and the first thing, I don't plan these. I don't script these. I don't write things out. I get a general idea. Like today, I knew I was going to bring up the alien bullshit. But other than that, it's like, while I'm talking, something pops in my head, which is also why my dog just died. Which is also why that's only going to be funny if the mic even picked that up. He's like fucking, I don't even know. He's old as shit. And he just like, he'll randomly get a hairball or fucking just start yelling pretty much. Nothing comes out. He's just, ah! So that's literally that joke. This whole segment's only going to make sense if the mic picked that up. I hope, speaking of that this fucking fan going off doesn't get picked up, but it's way too hot. The oven was going. So I don't know. If this episode's got a lot of background noise and dogs dying and everything else, I'm going to apologize in advance, but there ain't shit I can do about it. I'm not going to lie. I wasn't going to even do an episode today. I was going to just do like a best of and just take like some of my favorite clips from guests and just mash it all together. And just because like with the wedding and the driving and all the arrangements and everything from this past weekend, I didn't think I was gonna even have the energy to do this, and I really don't. My energy is probably really low right now, and that's just what it is today. But I figured I would come in here and just talk a little bit, give an explanation on a few things, and recap. Just recap things because my friends, actually not even my friends, because my friends know me. The people that listen to this who don't really know me on a personal level, they just kind of know me as this. They probably think I'm an asshole, which I am, but not actually. Like, don't invite me to your wedding. I don't want to be in your wedding. Obviously, that's an exaggerated joke. I went to my buddy's wedding. I did everything that I had to do. My my duties as a groomsman. I did not go to his bachelor party thing. I didn't want to do a bachelor party thing for myself. So it's like, I don't know. I will show up to these things and I will ramble and I will rant and I'll joke about how I don't want to do them, but I'll always do them. You can always invite me to be a part of it. It's just, I don't know, dude. I really don't enjoy just the big gatherings. It's just not for me. I don't like crowds. I like my friends. I like talking to them. I like hanging out with them. I'll go to it's easier to get me at 30 right now to go play like a flag football game than it would be to be like, hey, I got a couple buddies over. You want to come over for drinks? And it's like, no, dude, I really don't want to do any of that. It's just not interesting for me right now. I don't care to do it. It's kind of what happened with comedy. Like, I had my son and I'm like, I don't want to be out anymore. I don't fucking want to do any of that nonsense. It's just not, it doesn't interest me. Going to shows is one thing. Like, I wouldn't mind going to a show where a few of my buddies' bands are playing so I could see everybody at once and then just dip out. But every time I plan to do that, the night comes or the day before, I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm just not gonna. It's not anything against them. It's not anything against your band. It's not anything against you personally. It's just I would rather, if I'm gonna go out, just bring my son somewhere. I could probably bring him to a show, but I couldn't get him to fucking sit still outside at a wedding venue for 20 minutes, let alone get him in a fucking music venue inside with a bunch of grown ass men listening to music that he's not going to give a shit about with big ass headphones on because I don't want to damage his fucking little ears. So it's just, I prioritize him. I still will hang out with my friends. We do like a fucking stupid little game night thing that I talked about. It's all online, but we're all talking and bullshitting. We're going to do one in person, so I'll probably stream that just because. That'll be funny. Well, I don't want to say soon. We'll do it eventually. We have plans to do it. It's just we all work crazy schedules. It's Dark Horse 6, his episode. You guys, if you're listening to this podcast, you know him. But like, he works 2 days a week, and they're fucking like, if he says I have work, you're not gonna see him all day. Yeah, like, it's all day. He does the military shit, the fire department shit. You can go listen to his episode for more on that. I'm not gonna sit here and speak on that. But like, he's one of the main people that would come to one of these things, and his schedule's all fucked up. So it's like, we're all adults working different fucking bullshit schedules, trying to also not drain ourselves socially or like neglect ourselves socially, I should say. So like, we all still want to be in touch and do all this shit and hang out, but it ain't easy. So that's the asshole me. I just, I'm more than happy to oblige, and I'm more than happy if you want me. It's like an honor, I guess. If somebody's like, hey, you want to be in my wedding? Like, yeah, I'll be in your fucking wedding. Thank you for asking. Or if you and I just aren't close, I probably just gonna turn it down. Like, why the fuck you don't have any other person to ask, dude? It's almost how I felt about you, Alex, you piece of shit. Like, you have nobody else to ask, dude. You gotta fucking put me on the spot. But no, I'm not a dickhead. The parking thing, I 100% mean. There wasn't any joke or exaggeration on that. If I text you house parking, I'm probably already not interesting or already not interested in going to that. And I talked about that last episode. But that 100% was no exaggeration. That is just how I fucking feel. I hate finding parking. That's like the biggest thing with going to any event for me. But yeah, short and sweet today. By myself, just wanted to touch on a few. I like to do these little wrap ups after if I'm talking about a trip I'm going on in the episode prior. It's always cool to give you guys a little bit of insight on how it actually went. And this one didn't go as well as, when I talked about bringing my son out of the state to go to like the train station and everything. That was okay. We went on his first rides, first arcade, all that shit. I got nothing really great out of this. He caught his first fish. That was all it was. Well, I caught it. He got to touch his first fish. But other than that, nah. And even that, like, you guys know, I talked about it before. Like, I don't actually expect to ever catch anything when I bring him out on these fucking things. So I had to like, oh, we got something. And we were leaving when I caught it. So I was like, oh, we got something. Let's do this. And then we were about to release these. I didn't get to touch it. I'm like, oh, shit. If I would have let that thing go, dude, we wouldn't have been leaving. If he didn't get to touch that fish, I would probably still be there right now just hoping to catch something that he could touch. Because he would have lost his fucking mind. But no, this trip had no real substance. Aliens are real. Pee Wee Herman is dead. The dude from Euphoria died too, right? Let me look this up. I never watched Euphoria. I don't know what it's about. One of the annoying things that's going around is everybody's calling, and no disrespect to him, but like, I hate when somebody passes and immediately they're called, oh, he's a legend. This guy's legendary. He's gone too soon. That's always believable. That's fine. They're gone too soon. But I don't like the whole calling somebody a legend just because they died at a young age. Like, he could have been a great actor. Again, never saw the show. He could have been a great actor. It could be like a tragic loss in that community, whatever. Let's just stop throwing the word legend around every time somebody passes away. And I also don't like, I saw somebody refer to him as like a reincarnation of Mac Miller. Like, were they around the same age? He died at 25. When did Mac Miller die? I don't understand. He died. Do, do, mm, mm, do, 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 boom, he died at 26. Like, I mean, it was 2018, but I don't understand how you could be like, it just felt like a reincarnation of somebody who's relatively the same age as them. So like, I'm not gonna sit here and shit talk the dead or any of that shit. R.I.P. to the Euphoria actor who I don't know your name right now, but like, let's chill on the legend talk. Let's chill on the reincarnation talk. Let's just let people rest peacefully and call it a day. There's a lot of death going around though. Somebody from high school that I was friends with. We weren't super close. Obviously, we didn't really keep in touch after high school, but we were friendly in high school. I actually knew him before high school. So, a little rundown on that. We were at the Burger King in Lansingburg in Troy, and I was probably in like 7th grade. This is before I even moved to Troy, and I was with my cousin, and he was asking around for a lighter for cigarettes, and this group of kids were skateboarding outside, and the one kid said, "I like your jeans," to my cousin. He was wearing like skinny jeans. I don't know. He was wearing skinny jeans. He said, "Oh, nice jeans," or "I like your jeans," or something sarcastic. Kid who said it had a cast on his arm, and there was a group of like 8 or 9 of them. Who this kid is Kyle. He's a buddy of mine now, but at the time I didn't know him. His name's Kyle. Kyle goes, I like your jeans. My cousin goes, why are you looking at my jeans? Maggot with an F, you know? Why are you looking at my jeans? Maggot with an F. And the kid goes, what? And he got my cousin's face and he punched him and they were fighting. And like I said, there was like 8 kids and they all were running over. I'm like, nobody jump in, nobody jump in, nobody jump in. I'm doing my thing because I'm like, fuck me. I'm not trying to fight these 9 dudes while my cousin's getting his ass whooped. And there was just a quick little like 30-second fight. They were fine. And then this kid who passed away was a part of those 8 kids. And then I moved to Berg, I moved to Troy like 2 or 3 years after that. And I ended up being friends with like literally all 8 of those kids. So I was friends with all them through high school. I kept in touch with Kevin and Kyle outside of high school. So I was able to reach out to them and just be like, yo, it sucks. I know it was like your childhood friend, blah, 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 whatever. It was so long story short, everybody's dying and it's weird. I've talked about it on here. And it's supposed to be like, I hate when people are like, well, that's the age you're at. You're 30. Like, dude, I'm young as shit. I'm 30. What are you talking about? I had fucking people from high school, like, and then they told me somebody else passed. Like, he was like, yeah, did you know earlier this year, a couple months ago, this dude died? And I was like, nope, didn't know that either. Like, Jesus Christ. And that was one of his, like I said, I met these guys when I was in high school. That was another one of his childhood friends. I'm like, sorry, dude. Like, that's shitty. You're just getting hit with this hard. But it's really strange that it's all like at once. In the past couple of years, a bunch of people that I know have passed, and I really don't understand the argument that, well, it happens as you get older. It's like, yeah, but I'm only 30. I'm not old. I have a 3-year-old son. Like, it's not like I'm fucking 80 with a 25-year-old. Like, it's not really that normal. Age doesn't really make it. Saying the age thing doesn't really make it any better because that's just not how it works. But I don't know. That school's fucking cursed. We had another kid from our graduating class or the year before me. He got in a car accident, completely paralyzed from what I heard. So I don't know. It's a cursed fucking school, I guess. They're all good. He's good. He's alive at least. He's got a lot of fucking close friends and stuff that check up on him and keep him involved in everything. So I'm not going to say his name. I'm not going to say anybody's name just because it's not my place. The only name I'll say is Kyle. And fuck my cousin for losing that fight and then telling my aunt and my other cousins that I watched him get jumped by 8 dudes. You're a piece of shit. Fucking asshole. They were so pissed at me for that. They were like, oh, you let your cousin get jumped? I was like, he didn't get jumped. I specifically went out of my way to tell these guys, like, don't jump in. And then he gets his ass whooped and then says, oh, yeah, Chris stood around and watched me get jumped. You know what? Next time I will do that. I might fucking kick you while you're down because what the fuck is wrong with you? How are you going to sit there and... They did the same shit with me. We broke into an abandoned Freihofers factory or whatever the fuck. And my cousin wrote his full name was here, like in marker, Sharpie, whatever. I might have talked about this on here. I don't know. But his dad does like a bunch of work for the city and shit. So the cops were like, oh, this kid. I don't know who this is. Went, because I got caught. I jumped out the back and like I jumped out the back firewall or fire escape. And there was a cop outside. I was like, well, I'm caught. And he said, who are you with? I was like, I don't know them. Like, I was like, we were all just kind of hanging out, skating. I didn't have a fucking skateboard on me. So we were all just hanging out, skating, and this was abandoned, so we just came in, hung out, and we're fucking around spray paint shit. Whatever. And the cop's like, all right, you're good. Just come with me and have my parents pick me up. And then while I'm home, in my room, in trouble, my dad walks in my room and he goes, you snitch on your cousin? I said, what? He said, yeah, your aunt just called. You said it by name. Your aunt just called. And she said, you snitched on your cousin. Said it by name, obviously. I'm just leaving names out. I said, no. He goes, well, the cops knew it was him. And then I find out, I was like, how the fuck did they know? I said, he goes, I don't know. They're saying you snitched. So then we were all going to my aunt's house so that they can all, they can all question all of us. And then it comes out from my other cousin, like, you wrote your name on. I was like, you fucking idiot. So now I was the cousin who stood there watched somebody get jumped. Not true. And then literally like 2 months later, I was the cousin who on dumbass who spray painted it, or it was actually marker, who wrote his name in fucking Sharpie with the date. You're a dumbass. I surround myself with dumbasses. This podcast is brought to you by fucking dumbasses because obviously that's what I am if that's who I surround myself with. Thank you guys for listening. This episode's all over the place, but I don't think it'd be chewing the rag if it wasn't. See you next week.